Suave on the track.
Whatever it takes. Alleyway.
Coco, this your season right now.
They won't see me. They won't let me, yeah. I gotta sleep with one eye open, tripping, making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the stirrup. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid, yeah. I won't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah. I gotta sleep with one eye open, tripping, making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the stirrup. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid, yeah. I can't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah. I put attention, all of my blood, all of my veins. They started with perky, now that hair right up his veins. You started with serving, now them drugs drove you insane. Started with dealing, I grew up with killers, they taught me the game. I got some niggas that die behind, and that shit won't never the same. I know some niggas that lie behind, and that bullet had his name. Ain't no reason to cry about, cause that shit won't never change. MTF the 4th and P, my niggas can't get out the game. I gotta sleep with one eye open, tripping, making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the stirrup. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid, yeah. I won't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah. I gotta sleep with one eye open, tripping, making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the stirrup. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid, yeah. I can't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah.
Lost see, I glossed to it, shit ain't been the same. Heard the ops talking to the feds, giving names. Who gon' feed my family if they take me out the game? Keep one in the head and one eye open, that ain't change. I'm quick to catch a body. When I shoot, he shoot, I know bro shooting right beside me. Them hollow tips go through the wall and then they hit it.
Niggas died at 65.
Yeah. Hey man, all I'm saying is, nigga, you always got something to say. It's like you don't shut up.
Blazing on the track.
A lot of niggas died 1865. Single Michael fled, highway ain't gon' let it ride. Everybody hot and black was never on your side. They do maps to tell your apps where you sleep at night. They put that white man on. Got you begging them for answers like that white man know. Had you swearing you was African, that's that white man home. Had you proud to be a savage, that's that white man's zone. And I ain't talking shit, this by definition. If being savage was our nature, y'all be non-existent. We done took your ass out when we was in them kitchens. Instead of showing you how to live and how to maintain business. White supremacy fake. Only way that shit real is if you do what they say.
In the chat, man, make sure I hit that like button, man. Let's turn up a little bit in here. Let's get it.
Whatever it takes. The alleyway. You know, I had to really step back and look at my situation for what it was. You know, I didn't. It's the only way I can really understand what it was. You know, they say love make you blind. Yeah, I'm introverted. I don't talk to niggas cause I'm constantly serving. I got a trap on top of my bag, I got a murder. Echoes on the block, the streets wanna murder. This shit come with burdens. The streets wanna murder. Streets wanna murder. I told you that this thing of ours come with burdens. This shit come with burdens. This shit come with burdens. This shit come with burdens. Kansas City red. All the shit I seen replaying in my head. Heard the streets smoking, so we caught them boys instead. Black wanna murder and they caught with another bad. And I pray they would, yeah. But it was right, really, niggas was crooked, yeah. Playing it 50 with niggas that cost them a bullet, yeah. And when they do it to them, but I had a bullet. One foot in the streets, one foot in the trap, my hand on the music. I write my bars on this microphone, it's therapeutic. I know the streets listen when I talk, I can't abuse it, I can't abuse it, I can't abuse it, oh no, I can't abuse it. I don't talk to niggas cause I'm constantly serving. I got a trap on top of my bag, I got a murder. Echoes on the block, the streets wanna murder. This shit come with burden. I'm introverted. I don't talk to niggas cause I'm constantly serving. I got a trap on top of my bag, I got a murder. Echoes on the block, the streets wanna murder. This shit come with burdens. The streets wanna murder. Streets wanna murder. I told you that this thing of ours come with burdens. This shit come with birdies. This shit come with birdies. If yeah, baby, you know why I get it. Stuck in the grind, bitch, I'm on a mission. Over they talking, little baby, I'm different. And on my nuts, I handle my business. And on my bullshit in the.
Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Let's keep this thing going. Y'all already know the vibes, man. Thumb up the video, support the channel, man. It's your brother, Big Aboriginal Power. I want everybody to thumb up the video and let's get it.
Suave on the track.
The Hollywood.
Work is on its way, boy.
Got a 4-5 with a new drum, but a new vibe in the street.
I sold my heart right to the streets and I can't play with that. This shit that I did for the streets, I'm not gonna talk about that. I bought my youngest a new 40, told him play with that. So when them niggas spin the black, how you gonna play with that? Got a 4-5 with a new drum, got a new vibe in the streets. Lay down on the back blocks till I died in the streets. 4-5 with a new drum, but a new vibe in the streets. Laying down on the back blocks till I died in the streets. Body's on my conscience, and I won't let it. Paranoia taking over, I won't let it. Out your right mind, you won't sober. Well, the streets took a toll on you, but you a soldier. This shit I seen too many times before. Drugs taking over, they won't let them go. They make the wrong move, fuck it, we gon' let it blow. He just let me know that niggas' minds ain't right. Only killing for protection. My young niggas got obsessions. For that clout, they gon' press him. Consumed by the hate, another snake that's gon' bless him. He's supposed to be your brother, but he's screaming out that slime shit. Got a blood oath with my family, that's my tie. Y'all put your faith in me, and now we got it, we gon' all shine. And that's my word to the streets. 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 That's my word, yeah. I sold my heart right to the streets and I can't play with that. This shit that I did for the streets, I'm not gonna talk about that. I bought my youngest a new 40, told him play with that. So when them niggas spin the black, how you gonna play with that? Got a 4-5 with a new drum, bought a new vibe in the streets. Lay down on the back blocks till I died in the streets. 4-5 with a new drum, bought a new vibe in the streets. Laying down on the back blocks till I died in the streets.
Father God, first I ask for forgiveness. I ask that you look past our times that we have fell short. Father God, for our ones who do not know your love, Father God, I know that is my purpose to be a lighthouse in your grace. Wherever you lead my steps, whatever obstacle or hardships to come, I pray that you give us strength in the face of the enemy. Father God, thank you for listening to my soul. Amen.
I sold my heart right to the streets and I can't play with that. This shit that I did for the streets, I'm not gonna talk about that. I bought my youngest a new 40, told him play with that. So when them niggas spin the black, how you gonna play with that? Got a 4-5 with a new drum, bought a new vibe in the streets. Laying down on the back blocks till I died in the streets. 4-5 with a new drum, bought a new vibe in the streets. Laying down on the back blocks till I died in the streets.
Suave on the track.
Whatever it takes. The Hollywood.
Coco, this your season right now.
They won't see me. They won't let me, yeah. I gotta sleep with one eye open, tripping, making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the stirrup. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid, yeah. I won't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah. I gotta sleep with one eye open, tripping, making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the stirrup. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid, yeah. I can't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah. I put attention, all of my blood, all of my veins. They started with perky, now that hair right numb his veins. You started with serving, now them drugs drove you insane. Started with dealing, I grew up with killers, they taught me the game. I got some niggas that die behind, and that shit won't never the same. I know some niggas that lie behind, and that bullet had his name. Ain't no reason to cry about, cause that shit won't never change. MTF the 4th and P, my niggas can't get out the game. I gotta sleep with one eye open, tripping, making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the stirrup. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid, yeah. I won't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah. I gotta sleep with one eye open, tripping, making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the stirrup. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid, yeah. I can't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah.
Lost, see, I glossed too, we shit ain't been the same. Heard the ops talking to the
What's going on? What's going on, man? Peace and blessings to all the American Aborigines in the chat. If y'all can hear me loud and clear, drop them fire emojis, man. It's your brother Aboriginal Power, man. Y'all already know this is the Wake and Bake Show. Hey, man, let me know where y'all at this grand rise and where y'all smoking at. Is the audio cool on y'all end? Is the audio cool? You know what I'm saying? I got the laptop out today, man. It's been a while. I know y'all enjoyed the screen sharing, some little visuals yesterday. Hopefully, y'all can hear me loud and clear today. Can we get some feedback in the chat? Got 39 people in here. Can we get everybody to share the live stream real quick on your social media outlets? I appreciate that if y'all did that for me. Shout out to everybody in the chat. How y'all feeling out there? I don't want to say shout out to everybody that's tuning in. Peace and blessings to everybody that's watching the live stream that's not able to comment in the chat, maybe because you at work doing your daily commutes. Make sure y'all be safe out there. I do want to take the time out to shout out everybody in the chat. You know what I mean? That took their time out to come comment in this motherfucker. So let me shout out some of the brothers and sisters around here. All righty. Oh, who we got up in this thing? We got Bright Mo Daisy, Pop Reed, Snake God, Patrick Gabriel, Marcus Nosetta, the realest N-word alive, Oz Aboriginal. That sounds like a slave saying Oz Aboriginal. Hey, shout out to my brother Oz Aboriginal. Darius Matthews in the building. Enoch, Patrick Gabriel, Elizabeth Young. Shout out to Elizabeth Young. Antoinette Johnson in the building. Shout out to Wax On Never Off. Shout out to Kwame Shabazz, the real mother of nature. Shout out to Leonidas in the building. Make a traveling man, a Thompsonist goddess. Appreciate y'all for tapping in. Appreciate y'all. It's always a blessing to see y'all in the chat. Shout out to Craig Lloyd. And I want to give a special shout out to Craig Lloyd because he always starts the live stream off with a $2 Cash App donation. He's always the first one to hit it with the Cash App donation. I want to give a special shout out to Craig Lloyd in the chat. Make sure y'all support the channel. Don't let my brother Craig Lloyd be the only one that support Big Aboriginal Channel today. If y'all want to support the channel, links at the bottom of the screen, ticking across. Okay. Let me shout out to a couple more brothers and sisters off in here. All right, who else we got in here? Let's see. We got a Supreme Chieftain in the building. We got American Aborigine, Chief Kokomo in the building. Shout out to Chief Kokomo in the building. Shout out to Back Creek. Shout out to Root Words in the building. Shout out to Darius Lewis in the building. Shout out to Lewis Luck in the building. Shout out to everybody in the building. Hopefully everybody enjoying the build. We can get a couple people to support the channel. Hopefully we can get a couple people to support the channel. Shout out to Back Creek for sending in the $2 Cash App donation, supporting the $2 challenge. Shout out to my brother Back Creek. Shout out to Master Green in the building as well. Shout out to Master Green. It's good to see you in the chat as well, brother. Shout out to Master Green. All right. Shout out to Master Green. All right, man. Can you hit that like button? Thumb up the video. Support the channel, man. It's your brother Big Aboriginal Power. You already know what it is. Y'all see the title. Y'all see the title. We're going to get straight into that immediately. I do want to line that up for you guys right now. So shout out to everybody in the chat. Hopefully everybody can see loud and clear. We're going to get straight into it. The World's Fair, the 1876 Philadelphia World's Fair. We're going to get into some of the visuals. Kind of get into some of the history of it. I want to kind of give y'all some of the breakdown of what was going on in 1876 in Philadelphia during the World's Fair. These great large buildings, these monumental castles that are still being around today. They're active use. The main building that you see on my thumbnail of the video is the actual art museum in downtown Philadelphia. That was the actual main attraction during that particular time frame. So I do want to kind of get straight into the bill right now. Hit that like button, drop them fire emojis.
Welcome. Welcome.
Make sure y'all support the channel too, man. It's gonna be one of the ones. It's gonna be one of the ones. I'm gonna need y'all to support the channel, man. Just shout out to John Levi fair use as well. Make sure y'all support the channel. This is gonna be one of them fire ones. Y'all gonna enjoy this. Y'all don't want me to cut this one out short.
I can't believe it.
Y'all to
In
support the
my
channel.
area, the average temperature should be at least freezing. Freezing should be the high. But for some reason, it's beautiful. And everything has melted. And I'm kind of tiptoeing around. But here I was inspired to explore one of my favorite topics, a World's Fair. And I thought we'd focus on the United States, Pennsylvania, and we would States, which was in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Has the same characteristics as all the other World's Fairs. It was held for 6 months, this one having about 200 buildings, no shortage. And the year is 1876. This is the Centennial Expo, marking 100 years of good old America. What better way to celebrate 100 fresh American years? So they had a fair. And starting off, I want to be fair and neutral and approach this with an innocent spirit, somewhat naive, and see if any of this might make sense. As I've said in the past, I love to be wrong. Wouldn't it be nice to be wrong? And everything was actually just fine and dandy. So let's see what they have to say. In 1876, the first official World's Fair was to be held in the United States. In 1876, officially named the International Exhibition of Arts, Manufactures, it was held in Fairmount Park, a large park, the largest in Philly. 2 sections totaling 2,000 acres. I can't.
If y'all don't know where Fairmount Park is, which is right on the north side of Philadelphia, Fairmount Park is a huge park. In the middle of this park, you have houses. A lot of these houses are unoccupied by the residents of Philadelphia. I don't know what they're used for, but these are private houses. These are private houses. I've actually went through that particular park. It's a dope ass park. It's not too far from where I used to live in North Philly. It has castles within the park. It's one of the largest parks. It's almost like a 7-mile. It's almost like a 10-mile drive throughout the park. You got different areas. You got houses, buildings, and we want to kind of highlight the fact that a lot of these historical buildings in the World's Fair was just put up for the World's Fair and destroyed. But I don't believe that. I believe a lot of these buildings, even though they wasn't on record, was already in existence. And their explanation to turn them down was to get rid of the evidence of an ancient Aboriginal culture, science, and technology that was already in America.
Be right. Maybe just 2. And a large park, the largest in Philly. 2 sections totaling 2,000 acres. That can't be right. Maybe just 2. And it's along a river, just like many of the buildings of the old world, seeming to function in cahoots.
Look at that shit. You mean to tell me we wasn't advanced? We built a star fort on a fucking river.
With the river and waterways. And it was said to be with the river and water, meaning to function in cahoots with the river and waterways. And it was said to be held on the fairgrounds designed by Herman Schwartzman. Nearly 10 million visitors attended the expo, and 37 countries participated in it. Mind you, this is 1876. And
so in 1876, we had 10 million people gathered around Philadelphia, dominantly around this building right here, which is now the Art Museum in downtown Philadelphia. We had 10 million people here and residents and people from 37 different countries. Mind you, this is in 1876. A lot of the countries that we hear today wasn't even in operation during these times. A lot of these countries was not even in operation during this time.
37 countries and 10 million world participants, we're told, would partake in this fair, traveling by boat and horse and wagon. So this is very interesting. Even before this 1876 fair, we're told there was a fair called the Great Sanitary Fair. This sounds very enticing. How appealing. Honey, let's go to the sanitary fair. Okay. This fair, we're told, was the model for this great
Centennial. Look at this. Look at this. This is an ancient poster from 1876 inviting people to the World's Fair. Look at this. I want y'all to pay attention to this. Shout out to my brother Brightmore, Dion Brightmore Deezy in the building. Shout out to Brightmore Deezy. You help. Hold on. It said for help you stop smoking Reggie. Nah, for the channel. Shout out to my brother Brightmore, boy. Your ass the only one smoke Reggie around this motherfucker, boy. Your ass smoking CD Mid. Shout out to all the American Aborigines in the chat, man. We're gonna keep going through and breaking down this lost history of America. We highlighting Philadelphia in 1876 and the magnificent structures and lost castles. So hit that like button.
We're told was the model for this great Centennial World's Fair that was held about 12 years later. We're told the sanitary fair was actually to raise money for medicine and bandages during the American Civil War. There we go. It raised $1 million for bandages. I mean, what were they doing? We're told they were sawing people's legs off in the Civil War. Why did they need $1 million? How exotic could these bandages have been? And what a strange thing. Who has ever heard of some crazy sanitary fair that was held in 1864?
Did y'all hear about the sanitary fair that was raising money for medical equipment and medicines? Have you ever heard of that? Well, this is the first time you ever heard of that. This happened in 1864, right? The sanitation fair. Let's get back into it. Drop that like button. Share the live stream, man. I don't think y'all feeling this bill. I might even end this motherfucker. I should have waited. Y'all ain't even feeling it.
A strange thing. Who has ever heard of some crazy sanitary fair that was held in 1864? Here we go. Are you kidding me? We needed to build all this so that we could buy bandages? We needed to spend $20 million to raise $1 million? Unbelievable. Will you just look at this city in 1864? 1864. What?
1864. Look at the buildings in the background. This look like some UFO shit right here. Look like a UFO. You got the art museum. You got the rest of Philadelphia, or what is presumed to be Philadelphia at this time. All this area that you see is all of Philadelphia. This is like Market Street, Logan Square, that whole 4-block square radius. This is all of Philadelphia in 1876. You had 10 million people in this small area gathering around about this time of the year to come look at the fair.
In 1864. 1864. What have the people been doing in America? Look at this city in 1864. 1864. What have the people been doing in America for the last 100 years? From my perspective, nothing needed to be done. How many of these towers and spires are still standing? And what of this? Once again, you need to tell me you need to have a fair to raise money for bandages, and you have a building like this? Again, this building alone is a $20 million building, requiring at least 20 years to construct. But no, we needed...
This nigga said this building right here. This building right here is a $20 million building in 1876. Do you know how long it would have took to build this particular building? This one building that we call the Art Museum today. It was already built in 1864. How long would it have took to build this? And who built this? If Europeans wasn't dominant in the country and it was a nations that wasn't even established yet, who helped created this? Who did this?
To build all this to raise $1 million so that we could saw people's legs off and bandage them. Look at this. Look at these people. What war? Who is fighting a war? Look at this place. We're told the President of the United States in this time period was born in a log cabin the size of an outhouse. And yet this.
Right. The president, George Washington, right, was allegedly born in a log cabin along with Abraham Lincoln at this time. If they born in a log cabin, who the fuck lived in the brick buildings? If white people lived in the log cabins and tents, who the fuck lived in these buildings right here? This is what I want to ask you guys. Who is the dominant people that you see in Philadelphia now? Who makes up majority of the ethnicity and races in Philadelphia? Hint, hint. Negroes make up the dominant pieces of Philadelphia. They are the majority of the population. I think black people is at 52% in Philadelphia, leaving other ethnicities to break down the rest of the pie in fractions. So we have the majority, and I believe we have the majority then.
Is our city? Told the President of the United States in this time period was born in a log cabin the size of an outhouse. And yet this is our city, looking like any ancient city in Europe. And this isn't even...
First of all, this is all brick shit. At this time in 1876, 1864, you had the majority of Americans in the Midwest and in the West Coast living in tents. They didn't even have wooden structures. But yet in Philadelphia in 1876, you have magnificent brick masonry, buildings that would have cost $20 million to construct. Why is this history not being romanticized and talked about in our Western educational school systems? This is a question I propose to you guys. Shout out to all the American Aborigines in the chat. This is gonna be one of the ones. I'm gonna get to the San Francisco World Fair too. So let's get it.
The fair. We're off topic. This is the precursor to the World's Fair that we're about to look at. 10 years later, in which they would build 200 buildings. First of all, this is fine. This is fine for a World's Fair, this sanitary fair. This is fine for a fair today. Actually nicer. But I digress. The idea for this first World's Fair in America is given credit to a John Campbell, a professor of mathematics, natural philosophy, astronomy, graduating from this Wabash College in Indiana. The idea, okay, right off the get-go, this crazy idea just coming from this guy. He suggested to the mayor at the time that there should be a United States centennial to celebrate the first 100 years. Naysayers argued that the project would not be able to find funding. It seems like they did all right with their sanitary fair. I don't know what the skepticism is.
Right. If they was able to put up $20 million buildings and also raise $1 million in liquidated cash for medicine and bandages, they could have raised money for anything else, y'all. Listen, shout out to everybody in the chat. We got 90 people in the chat. I would like to get 200 people in this live stream before the hour marker is. We almost hitting the 30-minute marker, so we have another 30 minutes to try to get 200 people in this live stream. The only way we're going to be able to do that, family, unless I get each and every one of you guys to participate and share the live stream on all your social media outlets, right? I need y'all to thumb up the video because it buffs up the algorithm and kicks in and tells the YouTube algorithm to push this live stream to other people that wouldn't be privy to seeing this. So I appreciate if y'all hit the like button and share the live stream. If y'all guys are enjoying the build, support the channel. Cash App and PayPal information is ticking across at the bottom of the screen. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Drop them fire emojis in the chat if you can see and hear everything loud and clear. Let's go.
Other nations might not attend, they continued, and domestic exhibits would compare poorly to foreign ones. And pretty soon they found some supporters, the Philly Council, the Franklin Institute, and then they asked Congress for support, and the bill passed. Congress creates a board of finance to help raise money.
Now, mind you, look at this building. This is real footage.
They appoint.
Look at these buildings back here. Look at these walkways. Look at this magnificent building. This is true masonry. How can people that is recently just getting out of slavery, white people that has just got out of a black plague in the dark ages, able to build something like this within less than 100 years in America, all over Philadelphia? Not just one building that's worth 20 million, several buildings that's worth millions of dollars, and it shows and explains true masonry. There's no way they could have built that within just a few years. It had to already be here. Seriously.
Point John Welsh, this guy, first for support, and the bill passed. Congress creates a board of finance to help raise money. They appoint John Welsh, this guy, a merchant and minister to England, and he had raised money for the Great Sanitary Fair in 1864. So he was the perfect candidate. Congress had to seek this man out, a true expert, and they set up stocks. I mean, this is just crazy, involving Congress and setting up boards. 10 million in stock, $10 a share. The board sold almost $2 million worth, equal to 38 million today worth of shares by 1873. Okay, so we have 3 years to go. They just made a couple million bucks. Philly contributed 1.5 million. And Pennsylvania gave 1 million. And then Congress appropriated another 1.5 million. So everyone's just throwing down now. All skepticism and frugality thrown out the window in this early time period. Just having money right around the time of the Civil War to appropriate millions on a World's Fair that they're not even sure if anyone will show up to. And I beg to ask, even as wonderful as any fair that they create would be, where would you house the people? Without lodging, this fair is worthless. If you're traveling across the world, this isn't just a weekend trip. Let's say you traveled from anywhere in the world, managed to arrive at this fair. You're into this trip at least 2 weeks. And I would say that's generous. I think with boat travel and horse and wagon travel, you're into this trip a month just to attend the fair for 3 or 4 days. You have to get lodging and feed for your horses, and it looks like they had no problem raising a bunch of money. Then the Fairmount Park Commission set aside 450 acres for the expo. Unbelievable. I mean, 450 acres is absolutely insane. They would not have needed more than 20 acres to have a killer fair. But 450 acres? What? It's not like these fairgoers are cattle and they need to graze. Again, we're talking about horse and wagon. You want to keep everything nice and compact? Who wants?
Now look at this. Look at these Europeans. Look at this.
To walk around 450 acres.
These are people coming from other countries spectating on the government and our governing of our old country. This is from the old capital. These people are coming to give their own observation of the way the international Congress work. Y'all remember John Hanson? Y'all remember Chief Tammany? Listen, this is all the stuff that was taking place. This is slightly after William Blount came. So these are the people that Chief Tammany and William Blount agreed to allow to come here. These are the occupants. Seriously, go look it up. This is 100 years after they expatriation, after they got expatriated from Britain. This is their celebration.
And here we go. To accommodate out-of-town visitors, temporary hotels were constructed. Temporary hotels? And the Pennsylvania Railroad ran special trains into the fair.
Why would they create a temporary hotel and instead of leaving it a permanent spot of residence when people was living in tents? But you got a building that you only going to temporarily use and destroy when people are living in tents at this time? That don't make sense to me. Why would you destroy a perfectly good building and structure when people are living in tents? Unless you deliberately want to hide and get rid of something that was already there.
Fair. Again, 1873, railroad jumps on board. This is temporary, and they're going to lay tracks, permanent railroad tracks, to the temporary fair. Yes. And a small hospital was built on the grounds. Philly passed an ordinance that authorized the mayor to appoint 500 men as guards for the expo. Now, that's kind of weird. It'd be like going to Disneyland and having 500 guards all around it. Among soldiers, local men were hired. Guards were required to live on site and were housed at 6 police stations strategically located throughout the expo. Why so many police stations and so many guards? Now again, you probably know what I want to say from my past videos and how I really feel about all this. But again, I'm approaching this innocently and naively. Structures. More than 200 buildings were constructed within the expo grounds, which were surrounded by a fence nearly 3 miles long. There were 5 main buildings in the expo. The main exhibition building, memorial hall, machinery hall, agricultural hall, and horticultural hall. Apart from these buildings, there were separate buildings for state, federal, foreign, corporate, and public comfort buildings. The Centennial Commission sponsored a design competition. Again, the same narrative as usual. First round had to have details of construction, cost, and time prepared for the runoff on.
Hey, if y'all got any remarks or comments, hey, support the channel. Support the channel. Support the channel, man. Support the channel, man. How y'all feel about this information and then what y'all heard so far? Hit that like button. Y'all share the live stream. If y'all watching this, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna want to hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you get all your latest updates. How y'all feeling out there, brothers and sisters? Hey, if y'all enjoying the build, hit the Cash App. It's at the bottom right of it's at the bottom of the screen, ticking across. The information is. Make sure y'all support the channel, man. Y'all gotta support the channel. Hit the like button as well. Shout out to all the American Aborigines in the building, man. I'm actually feeling this build. It shows how we already who built these structures, man. That's one of the questions I want to propose, and we can maybe move on. Who constructed these structures, man? Support the channel, man. Let's get it.
On September of 1873, 10 designs were submitted and the winners were chosen. It was determined that none of them allowed enough time for construction and limited finances. The architecture of the exhibition mainly consisted of 2 types of buildings: traditional masonry monuments and buildings with a structural framework of iron and steel. So look at these buildings in the back. You mean they put this shit together and built this shit for the World's Fair and destroyed it afterwards, and it only lasted for 6 weeks? So you mean they built this shit for 6 weeks and destroyed it right after the 6 weeks? How long would it have took to build a building like that, made of concrete, bricks, and steel and iron and shit like that? Shout out to Antoinette. Shout out to my sister Antoinette Johnson in the chat. She sent the Cash App donation. She said, for a very interesting build. I'm glad y'all enjoying it. It is kind of interesting. It caught my eyes. It raises a couple questions. And it shows that they're hiding something. You see what I'm saying? It just proves that they're hiding something. Shout out to Antoinette, man. If y'all got something to respond on
on the build or want to say something about the build, send it in the Cash App donation. Support the channel. Shout out to Sister Antoinette Johnson. Don't let the sister be the only one supporting the Big Aboriginal Power platform today, y'all. Man, y'all got to support the channel. The real support the real. Shout out to my brother, Not a Coincidence, in the chat. I see he's skeptical.
Not being told about the whole temporary thing, really pushing these builders, having such a short deadline to build their 200 buildings. They only have 3 years to build these 200 buildings, and it consisted in the end of masonry, iron, and
Hold on, they only had 3 years to construct 200 buildings. Now, let me ask you this, not a coincidence. Is it physically possible? And I want you to listen to me. Is it physically possible for people, a group of people, assignment as 200 buildings to be constructed in less than 3 years? Is it possible to build 200 structures in less than 3 years? Magnificent structures. I don't believe it is to be true. You can ask a fucking engineer. You can ask the motherfucking anybody that deals with structures.
These builders, having such a short deadline to build their 200 buildings. They only have 3 years to build these 200 buildings, and it consisted in the end of masonry, iron, and steel. The main exhibition building, designed by engineer Joseph Wilson and architect Henry Petit, a temporary structure, we're told. The main building was the largest building in the world, enclosing 21 acres. 21 acres. I was just saying.
So they can build one building that's 21 acres. And in 1874, this building became the largest building in the world. You mean that they can build that plus 199 other buildings in less than 3 years? Not a coincidence? Or anyone else in the chat? Answer that question for me. That is crazy.
Was the largest building in the world, we're told. The main building was the largest building in the world, enclosing 21 acres. 21 acres. I was just saying 20 acres would be perfectly adequate to hold a fair. And here we're told they built this temporary building that is 21 acres large. How can I explain 21 acres? I think maybe a football stadium, a large one. And let's just look at it. Okay, here we go. 21 acre building here. 21 acres. And you can see this is.
Let's just look at this building right here. Let's just look at this beautiful masonry. This shit was already here. They didn't build this shit, man. They maybe added on some little shit. This shit was probably dug up from a mud flood or some shit like that. Hell no, man. Damn, that's a beautiful building, man. And it's still around today. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Like, this is not no, it's still around today. You can drive to downtown Philadelphia. They got a lot of other shit around it now. And you will see the same building. I believe they got a statue of William Penn on one of them now.
The short side. This is the absolutely short side of this long rectangle. Here we go. Just let's zoom in a little. Look at that. Almost continues for what seems like a mile. This flag here and arch seems to be the halfway point. And this, we are told, is temporary. And this is only one of 200 buildings. Why would you?
This is only one of the 200. I feel like it would have took 3 years just to build this building. Have you ever seen niggas work on a bridge or a local road in your neighborhood? It might take 2 years to fix that little weak ass bridge. Nigga, they saying it took 3 years to build 200 of these. Nigga, I feel like it took 3-4 years to build this motherfucker. Just this one building.
To even build one more. How could you even build this one in 3 years, let alone 199 more? You have to landscape, lay railroad tracks, grade the roads, and what would I think now if I was truly innocent and naive? Could I just keep reading? Could I just dismiss this while looking at these primitive people? Could I accept any more? And mind you, this was not even the world's largest fair. This one is actually pretty small, and the building's less grand than other world's fairs, but this is 1876. Again, our president is born somewhere around here in a log cabin. Again,
So look at this building structure. This is in Paris. This is in Paris in 1889. Look at this shit. And they built that shit in 3 years too. Let me guess. They built all this shit in 3 years.
Our president is born somewhere around here in a log cabin, and somehow this is thrown up in a few years for a temporary fair. And here's a look at the interior, and this is an actual photograph, a very early photograph, 1876, in this temporary 20-acre building, and there's nothing temporary about.
So this is a temporary building, meaning after it was done, they was destroying it. Come on, man. Niggas living in tents and log cabins. You got a perfectly built structure that you just gonna tear down. That don't even make sense. If y'all feeling this bill, man, support the channel, man. For real. Let me know that y'all enjoying this bill by hitting the Cash App donation. PayPal information on the bottom of the screen as well. Make sure y'all support the channel. If y'all enjoying this, hit that like button too. Support the channel, man. That is crazy. This is a temporary building. This building is huge, magnificent.
This is steel. These are load-bearing columns, and it actually looks like it has a concrete floor. Can you imagine flooring 20 interior acres with anything? So again, we see here a temporary structure, but then we're told it was constructed using prefabricated parts, wood and iron frame resting on a substructure of 672 stone piers. Wrought iron roof trusses were supported by the columns of the superstructure. So again, let's go back to the interior. We are told these are stone columns. They just told us stone columns and iron roof.
So they got a stone column and an iron roof that they built just temporarily, and they're gonna destroy it. That don't even make sense, man. Like sometimes we gotta sit back and be like, yo, this don't make sense. You gotta learn how to critical think. You gotta be using critical thinking. You gotta learn how to fucking examine shit. Challenge the narrative when you know it's wrong. This is one of these cases, bro. I wish I had some people out there that was understanding what I'm saying out here.
So somebody please tell me what is temporary about stone columns and an iron structure. 672 stone piers. The building took a mere 18 months to complete and cost $1.5 million. Unbelievable. Just chock full of inconsistencies. Temporary, yet stone and iron. Do we go on? Here they tell us the flooring of the building was made of wooden planks that rested directly on the ground. 20 acres of wooden planks. 20 acres of flooring. And this looks unbelievable. If it is wood, not a seam, just...
Right. How the fuck is this a wooden plank floor? This shit look like marble, yo. They are fucking lying, man. They're lying. flat out. That cannot, if that's a wooden floor, this is the most magnificent, seamless it don't even have a seam in the floor. If you look at wooden floors now, you at least see a line or two where the seams is. This is in the 1876 when this World Fair took place, so it had to be built before then, obviously. How do they able to put together this so smoothly?
Laying on dirt, 20 acres. We're talking about a forest's worth just on the floor, if this is the case. And it's just over the top. It's just heavy and way, way, way over the top. Stained glass, skylights, fountains that provided cooling, the largest everything for its time.
Bro, did y'all see this shit? Let's go back a couple steps.
On dirt, 20 acres. We're talking
Look, real photo of that building
about a forest's worth just on
this building survived. They call it the Art Museum. You can go down to downtown Philadelphia and look at it.
the floor, if this is the case. And it's just over the top. It's just heavy and way, way.
So this building was constructed and destroyed, obviously. This building was destroyed. Mind you, you could have put 100,000 people probably in here living in here. At least 1,000 people living in here. When you got people living in tents and log cabins, when you got a concrete metal structure with a tin and iron roof.
Way, way over the top. Stained glass,
stained glass and shit.
Lights, fountains, the top. Stained glass, skylights
And shit.
Fountains,
fresh fountains and shit.
Provided cooling, the largest everything for its time. And mind you, this.
Look, these are lights. These motherfuckers would have been lit up at night. This whole thing would have been lit up with these little lights at the top. Come on, man.
This is the first. It's a fair. It's not a castle, although it is. What are you gonna do in here? Again, I stress, you need some concessions, some amusements. What are you gonna do? This guy's gonna push this lady around. Right now, she just needs to use the restroom. Where could the restroom be here? Excuse me, sir. Sir? Again, I digress. Let's look at the Horticultural Hall. Built in 1 year, demolished in 1954. Here she is. Now, this wasn't even the same building. This is just another building. Remember, 200 buildings. We've just seen.
This whole building was built in 1 year. Design, structure, roads, pavement, roof, floor, bathroom, rooms, doors, glass, everything. Windows, all this shit was put together in a year. Unfucking believable.
2. All this was built in 18 months and demolished. Who would demolish this? And who would build this? And it looks like the Matrix is playing across the street. And let's imagine a Matrix scenario here. Again, we're told of a log cabin building.
Come on, man. This shit don't even make sense, gang. This shit was built in less than a year. This magnificent concrete metal structure was put together in a year, then destroyed in less than 6 months.
We've just seen 2. All this was built in 18 months and demolished. Who would demolish this? And who would build this? And it looks like the Matrix is playing across the.
I don't even think y'all feeling the bill, man. Y'all ain't even hitting the like button. I want to get 200 people in here before the hour mark. Y'all ain't even supporting the channel. Hit the like button. Support the channel. Y'all ain't feeling the bill, man. I probably should have just came out and did something else. This is crazy to me, though. What? This is wild. Like, this shit is blowing my mind how bad they just fucking lie in our face and expect for us to just be like, okay. I believe that they put all these 200 buildings up that you see in the World's Fair in 1876 in Philadelphia. I believe that they put it all up in less than 3 years and they destroyed it in less than 6 months later. And they kept one building to show that it was actually, you know what I'm saying, to keep proof of it. I don't believe that. They're lying. I wish somebody support the channel, hit that like button. They're lying, you guys.
Straight. And let's imagine a matrix scenario here. Again, we're told of a log cabin building people settling the Americas, and we are the following generation of this hardworking, struggling people. And today, while playing the role of the innocent and naive prick, I stumble across this 1876 temporary Philadelphia Fair, and this isn't even the main building. This is just this stupid horticultural hall. And let me just say, if I was building a city and I wanted to feed my people, the first thing I would erect is a greenhouse this size. But back to the fair. The machinery hall, again designed by a Joseph Wilson and Henry Petit. Machinery hall was the second largest structure at the expo, located west of the main building, the 28.
Look how huge the machinery hall is. And come on, man. It would have took down there 3 years. It would have took 3-4 years to build some shit like this. Seriously. Come on, man. We can't be that fucking naive. This is a lie that they're telling us, man.
Acre building. What?
That's like a motherfucker telling me that the grass is purple. You know, your grass is really orange. The grass is really orange. You don't see it. It's not green for nigga. You're lying.
With a superstructure made of wood and glass, resting on a foundation of massive masonry. So there we go. Massive masonry, glass, and this is just one of 200 buildings of this nature, most which would be torn down with the exception of 4 or 5 of them. And what was the purpose of this machinery hall that took 6 months to construct, occupying 500,000 square feet? The machinery hall was to showcase state-of-the-art industrial technology that was being produced at the time. One of the major displays or attractions was the Centennial steam engine, as we can see here, that ran power to all machinery in the building as well as other parts of the World's Fair. So this is pre-power, or at least what we would call conventional power, and yet they were powering this whole fair with this steam engine. It was 45 feet tall, this thing that we're looking at, and weighed 600.
So, do you mean to tell me that they pretty much was using a steam engine to produce all the electricity of the whole World's Fair? And you're looking at it right there. So this is what produced the energy and enough electricity to move, to have the fucking electricity running through the lights and then in the buildings and shit. And for the machinery hall and all that.
150 tons and had 1 mile of overhead belts connecting to the machinery in the building. Unbelievable. I mean, again, this is a 6-month fair in 1876, horse and buggy, and we have a 650-ton, 45-foot tall engine? How is anyone moving any of these parts with a horse? But I completely digress.
Man, no, don't just brush by. How the fuck is anybody moving this shit with a horse and a buggy, yo? That don't even make sense. How many tons? 45 feet tall? Come on, man. Niggas is fucking bugging. Niggas is bugging. Man, support the channel, man. Hit that like button. Cash App tags at the bottom right of the screen, man. Make sure y'all support the channel if y'all feeling the bill. If y'all enjoying the information, which we just now getting halfway through the halfway marker. We got another World's Fair we're going to look at today. All right? Hit that like button. Support the channel.
Moving any of these parts with a horse. But I completely digress once again. Let's have a look at the machinery hall. Why don't we have a better picture? Again, not even the large building, just a side building. And we can note how amused these visitors seem, even in this rendering, seeming absolutely bored. Honey, why did we come here? I'm not sure, dear. And next we arrive to my favorite, the Memorial Hall. In present times, this is called the Please Touch Museum, and we've looked at it before. The building is constructed of brick, glass, iron, and granite. It was the largest hall in the country with a 1.5 acre footprint, a 150-foot dome, and inspired by the Reichstag building in Berlin. That seemed.
Come on, man. And all this shit. And this building was one of the 200 buildings that was put.
Here. Yeah, more than just inspired. And the Memorial Hall should be enough. We just looked at 3 massive buildings. And then this. And nothing temporary about this. Just this one building. They would have blown through their budget and time frame of 18 months. Just this building. And I never even bothered looking at this World's Fair. This building is all it took for me to realize that the narrative was absolutely ridiculous. This and none of these 200 buildings were built for this 6-month fair. If it's not clear by now,
Look at that shit, man.
after all these years, it may never be clear. How can anybody swallow this narrative? Brick, glass, and iron,
All built in 18 months.
1876. This building is time and iron, 1876. This building is timeless. This isn't the kind of building you build in a few months, or a year, or even 10 years. We are told this building has been sitting here since 1876, and this building could sit here for another 1,000 years and probably need very little maintenance. And I think this video is getting a little long. Let's just have a look at a few other buildings. Here is the Women's Pavilion. This is the unbuilt Centennial Tower, a 1,000-foot tall tower conceived for the fair.
1,000-foot tower. And look at this. This look like pyramids in the background. If I don't know if it should look like a pyramidal structure, but it kind of do to me. You feel what I'm saying? Man, y'all ain't even supporting the channel. Y'all don't even enjoy this bill. I'm coming with some heat. Y'all be like, screenshot, show some foot. Y'all be wanting to see the technology. Y'all be wanting, man. I'm gonna let it go, man, because I feel like y'all gonna support him in a minute. We just get
there, but we're told it was never built. And what about everything else? No.
Come on, man. Come on, man. You mean to tell me that this shit wasn't already here? This pyramid? Come on, man. Get the fuck out of here. And they gonna put this energy tower right here next to it. Come on, man. Get the fuck out of here. Come on, man. Y'all gonna have to stop lying like that, man. Flat out. They gonna have to just quit lying like that. Do you see that? Do y'all see this? Or am I bugging the fuck out? Do I see 2 pyramids? Or am I fucking bugging? I wish we had some people in here that was enjoying the build, man. Support the channel. This is fucking interesting. Pyramids are already allegedly energy grids. And allegedly they got 2 pyramids right here with this energy tower. Are they just hooking in, tapping into the electric, to the energy? What's going on, man? These niggas lying, man. They ain't built none of this shit within 3 years. They ain't even built this shit at all.
Explanation. Don't mind the pyramids. And here the interior of the horticultural hall, complete with chandeliers and a very Moorish architectural feel, plumbed fountains. Again, the president is born a couple states away in a small shanty-like log cabin. Not far away to the south, they were sawing people's limbs off and fighting each other with cannonballs and muskets. Here is their monorail, of course. Why wouldn't we have a monorail? This budget just seems to stretch on forever. May as well have a monorail, says Mr. Controller here. Here we can see the Statue of Liberty's arm on display and the largest knife and fork in the world. Remember in my last video I was talking about how everything 100 years ago was the largest everything, and was this just found in the basement of one of these 20-acre buildings. Well, I hope that wasn't too boring. I thank you for joining me this week.
Man, if y'all enjoyed that bill, drop some fire emojis in the chat. If y'all enjoyed that bill, drop some fire emojis in the chat, man. We ain't even done yet. We're going to get to the second half of the next video I have lined up for you guys. So we're going to jump over here to it. We're going to get right in it. Man, hit that like button, support the channel, man. Hit that like button, support the channel. Y'all ready to get into the second half? Y'all going to have to support the channel, man. Y'all going to have to support the channel. Y'all ready for the second half, man? Hey, that's some crazy shit, though. The Philadelphia World's Fair, 1876. 200 magnificent stone, wooden, granite, metal structures built in less than 3 years. That's impossible. That's impossible. Flat out. Flat out. That's impossible, y'all. We're about to get into this second half, but I need y'all to thumb up the video, y'all. I need y'all to thumb up the video and hit the like button. Show some love, man. Support the channel, man. The real support the real. Let's get right into this next one, man.
The fair had everything. When you tired of the auto racing, you could always watch the camels run. That is, if you weren't chasing after the penny toss car or gawking at the movie stars and celebrities. Arbuckle and Mabel Normand, for instance, or listening to John Philip Sousa lead the band in the Court of the Universe. There were daredevils to amaze you. Some were in the water and others in the air. There was plenty of culture and history too, beautiful girls and beautiful animals. It was the most wonderful thing that ever happened to San Francisco.
Sell online and grow your business with Wix e-commerce. Create a beautiful storefront for your
It had been a very busy century. First, the city had been shaken down and then it burned down. And while the St. Francis was still a burned out shell, plans for the exposition were being made in the Little St. Francis, a temporary hotel on Union Square. The site selected was this mud hole out at Harbor View, near what was called Cow Hollow. By 1912, San Francisco was nearly rebuilt. You could ride up Market Street for 5 cents, either in a jitney or a streetcar, or get a 9-course dinner for $1. Out at Harbor View that year, President Taft turned the first spade of earth to the cheers of thousands who gathered for the groundbreaking ceremony. And from what was once a swamp, a sunset city of pale travertine with green bronze domes began to rise. It stretched from Chestnut Street to the water, from Van Ness Avenue to Fort Point in the Presidio, a marvelous array of cloistered palaces filled with the treasures of the world. The sheltered courtyards and arcades protected visitors from the bay winds and summer fogs. Separated from the rest of the world, open only to the waters of the Golden Gate and the Marin Hill.
Y'all see this shit? Y'all see these structures? San Francisco, 1915.
Beyond. It truly was a world apart. A world of wonders, of light, an innocent world. For by May of 1915, the Lusitania had been sunk, and we would never be so young, so innocent again. Opening day, February 20th, 1915, 200,000 people stood inside the Scott Street Gate in the South Garden. They waited for President Wilson to press a golden telegraph key. It sent a wireless message 3,000 miles to an antenna on the Tower of Jewels. This signal started the wheels of the giant diesel engine in the Palace of Machinery rotating, and the fountain of energy gushed forth, and a magical summer started for the people of San Francisco. If you went to the movies that year, you might have seen this trailer advertising the Panama Pacific International Exposition, along with Blanche Sweet and Thomas Mahan in The Secret Sin, and the latest chapter of Pearl White's new serial, The Exploits of Elaine. Here, the spirit of San Francisco mixes the gold of the poppies with the memories of 1906, and never forgetting how the world once befriended the ruined city, creates a wonderful fairyland and invites the world to come and share it. This charming and naive film helps to explain the tremendous emotional life the city received from the fair, why it has remained so vivid a memory after all these years. The exposition was really a symbol, a triumphant sign to the world that San Francisco had risen from the ashes. We had not only rebuilt the city itself, we had even built a second city, a city of jewels. The exposition was the first to have complete artistic supervision. Even the colors of each building were chosen from a master palette, and the sand on the paths was burned in a kiln to turn it the same color as the travertine walls of the palaces. This was the first exposition with indirect lighting, the first in which the flowers of the gardens were completely changed overnight as they faded. Indeed, John McLaren's gardens were the talk of the horticultural world. Hundreds of full-grown trees were transported from all over Northern California to the exposition ground.
So you wonder what happened to your motherfucking trees in California. You wonder These people are lying. Y'all support the channel, man. Cash App tags at the bottom right of the screen. If you ain't follow me on Instagram, make sure y'all go follow me on Instagram. That's at the bottom left of the screen, y'all. Make sure y'all follow me, man. Support the channel. This is all lies that they talk about. They just, listen, most of this shit was rediscovered during the mud flood. Did y'all know in 1891 that 1888 or something like that, that San Francisco went through a huge fire and was flooded? You see, we don't talk about that. I got some more shit lined up for this bill, but if y'all want to get to the other half, which is the cap off, the third round, you feel what I'm saying? Y'all gonna want to support the channel, man. If y'all want to get to this, the next one, man. We only halfway through this. We almost halfway through this video.
The fair was a crowning artistic achievement of the city that knows how. The directors of the exposition were terribly aware of the war that raged in Europe. It had very nearly wrecked their plans for any foreign exhibits and buildings. It took all the efforts of the directors to convince the nations of the world to participate at all. But by the opening day, 30 elegant pavilions lined the avenues of nations. Despite this, the shadow of the war hung over the fairgrounds. As if in a premonition, the lights seemed brighter, the music more gay. The world was shrinking. We were becoming more a part of it each.
The music was way lighter. What did he say? He said the music was gay. Listen to what this nigga just said.
As if in a premonition, the lights seemed brighter, the music more gay.
The music more gay. What?
In a premonition, the lights seemed brighter, the music more gay. The world was shrinking.
The music more what?
The lights seemed brighter, the music more gay. The world was shrinking. We were becoming more a part of it each day, and we sensed it. The Tower of Jewels was a thing alive. On it hung 125,000 polished jewels of Bohemian glass, backed by bits of mirror. Shrouded by fog, they gleamed mysteriously. In the sun, caught by every breeze, they shimmered and sparkled. At night, in the glare of 1,000 arc lamps.
Nigga, that nigga was talking about the future. He knew Lil Nas X bitch ass was gonna be rapping. That music was more gay. That nigga was talking about the future, cuz. Y'all was tripping. That nigga said the music was more gay. That nigga got niggas like Lil Young Thug, motherfucker Lil Nas X, and all these other little.
They danced and shone like a marvelous colored sun. The exposition was huge. Like all world fairs, people walked until their feet hurt. Then they rode. In the overfair trains, traps, horse carts, wickerwork carryalls, and the famous Fagel trains. While most people had become pretty blasé about automobiles, the airplane still was the new thrill. Lincoln Beachey was the first aeronaut. After all, he had even flown through the Palace of Machinery in 1914 as a promotion stunt. It was the world's first.
Lucius Goddess, you right. You are the Tartarian. You are the Amaru. You are the Atlantean. This is Atlantis. This is Tartaria. This is the ancient empire of advanced technologies. See, it don't matter what the names that they want to call it. We just know that the system was in place. And we see the evidence.
Indoor airplane flight. Beechey usually flew a biplane, but these films show him flying a new and daring monoplane. And minutes after this film was taken, Beechey crashed into the Golden Gate. He was given a hero's funeral, and the exposition was in mourning for days. Art Smith was the next hero in the air. Most afternoons, he thrilled the crowds by just looping over the Marina Green.
Online presence is everything, especially now. And GoDaddy was able to help us.
So that nigga was just driving an airplane doing random shit. I don't believe that. I don't believe that shit at all. Hey man, I want some people to support the channel, man. I need y'all to support the channel. Hit the like button, share the live stream. If you're really enjoying the build, hey, send a cash out donation. Let me know that y'all really enjoying the build. You feel me? Thumb up the video, man. There's some dope information. We better get to the other half of the next video I got lined up, but we got about another 20 minutes. We got another 15 minutes on this video. Let's get it.
But at night, with the moon over the Golden Gate as a background, he attached flares to the fragile linen-covered wings of his plane. He was absolutely incredible. Daredevil, you bet your life.
These niggas was risking it all for the World's Fair. These niggas was risking it all.
Bernard at the office, 830 feet.
Now look at this shit, man. This is in 1915. Look at this World's Fair lit up.
In the air. It was at the opposite end.
Let me skip this shit up to a little bit. Let's go. Let me skip this shit up.
Pretty girls landed too. Watch this charming delegation of daffodil girls representing Santa Cruz County take the marina by storm.
Man, these white bitches, I mean, no offense, man. No offense to nobody, but these white bitches, man, talking about pretty girls. These bitches were prostitutes from Europe coming in from America, getting off of them boats. Just like they about to do from Ukraine when them motherfuckers start coming to your city from Ukraine. They about to be trying to give up that little white coochie, man. Nobody want none of that bullshit, man. That's some bullshit.
Where are they going? To the California building, of course. Past the Forbidden Mission Garden to grace the Santa Cruz County exhibit. No one has ever forgotten how magnificent the exposition was. And it was beautiful. An indescribable aura of magic filled the many courts. Louis Mulgart's Tower of Abundance brooded over his mysterious court of ages. This strange Gothic fantasy was much admired for the deep thought behind its architecture. The fountain of the earth, sometimes shrouded by clouds of steam, depicted man's rise from a primordial ooze. In 1915, you didn't just build a courtyard, you built a way of life.
Right. You notice in 1915, they kept them structures. They didn't use them as temporary. They knew there was some stupid shit to get rid of our old buildings. You feel what I'm saying? Let's get into this second half of this next video, man. Before we get into that, I'm going to need y'all to thumb up the video. I'm going to need y'all to thumb up the video, man. I'm going to need y'all to thumb up the video. Support the channel, man. Before we even get into the next video, I'm going to need y'all to support the channel. Matter of fact, I'm going to take a quick 60-second break, right? That's going to give y'all enough time to support the channel. You feel me? Thumb up the video, share the live, and to support the channel, man. PayPal and Cash App information is on the screen. You feel what I'm saying? Support the channel. We'll be back in 60 seconds, man. We'll be back in 60 seconds.
Yeah. Hey man, all I'm saying is, nigga, you always got something to say. It's like you don't shut up.
On the track.
A lot of niggas died 1865. Single Michael fled, highway ain't gon' let it ride. Everybody hot and black was never on your side. They do maps to tell your apps where you sleep at night. They put that white man on. Got you begging them for answers like that white man know. Had you swearing you was African, that's that white man home. Had you proud to be a savage, that's that white man zone. And I ain't talking shit, this by definition. And being savage was our nature, y'all be non-existent. We done took your ass out when we was in them kitchens. Instead of showing you how to live and how to maintain business. White supremacy fake. Only way that shit real is if you do what they say. We the guards of the gate. So when they say they fear God, now you know what they made.
All right, shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Hopefully there was enough time for everybody to hit the like button and support the channel, man. Make sure y'all support the channel, man. We ain't get nobody to support the channel yet. Share the live stream. If y'all ain't following me on Instagram, hey, follow me on Instagram at big_Aboriginal_power, man. Share this live stream, tag me, and I'll share it on my stories and my, you know what I'm saying? I'll share it on my stories, man. Telling people to go follow you on the Instagram, man. Make sure y'all follow me on Instagram. If you ain't following me on Twitter, follow me on Twitter at Power Aboriginal. You feel what I'm saying? Go follow me on Twitter at Power Aboriginal, man. We're going to start doing the Twitter spaces as well over there. We getting the clubhouse scene lit. Hey, it's a movie. It's a movie. Yeah. So listen, man, we need some people to support the channel. Y'all want this to be able to get in. This going to be one of the ones right here. This gonna be one of the ones right here. This the one I'm gonna end the video. I'm gonna end the video with this one. I'm gonna end it out with this one. But I'm gonna need y'all to support the channel, though. I need y'all to run them likes up and support the channel. Shout out to everybody in the chat too, man. I want to say peace and blessings to everybody tuning in that is listening and watching. Shout out to y'all. And shout out to everybody that's in the chat, man. Y'all extra active in the chat, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat. If y'all can hear and see everything loud and clear, make sure y'all drop a fire emoji in the chat. You know what I mean? Let Big Aboriginal Power know in the chat that y'all can hear and see everything loud and clear. All right. I don't see no fire emojis. Just wait till we turn up, man. Let's wait till we see what's going on out here. Maybe I ain't feeling the bill, man. I got some more heat for y'all. We're going to get into this. We got to break down this story, man. This story that ain't been told. We really got to talk about that. All right, man. Let's get right into it.
Pacific, or from the bright crystal lakes of Minnesota to the orange groves of Florida, we behold throughout the immense extent the feature of nature, grand and beautiful in every aspect. The mineralogist, the geologist, the naturalist, and even the botanist all have a rich field here. Strange as it may appear, America abounds in antiquities so extensive, so beautiful and majestic as to rival those of Thebes of Nineveh. Ruins of ancient cities of immense extent, fortifications, mounds and pyramids, temples with walls built of hewn stone, showing a refined taste in architecture and adorned with human figures beautifully executed, large altars ornamented with hieroglyphs probably giving a record of those who reared them, but which no man has been able to decipher. Remains of ancient palaces with beautiful specimens of sculpture and painting, with many other marks of greatness.
Stop it right here. I don't think y'all feeling the bill. We ain't get nobody to support it yet. Hey, this I'm telling y'all. Y'all wanted to see the structures. Y'all wanted to see the information. Y'all want to see this magnificent science and masonry that we talk about. Here it is. This is ancient America, and then we in this build is going to show you a 1858 newspaper article depicting what we call our old world, and it's going to look much like the future once you look back into our past. Once you take a good glimpse and look at our past, you start to see the future. You see what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Support the channel, man. Let's get into it, man. Cash out tags at the bottom right of the screen, man. Make sure y'all support the channel. Let's go.
Remains of ancient palaces with beautiful specimens of sculpture and painting, with many other marks of greatness, prove to us that this is not a new world, but that a powerful empire existed at a very remote period of time, teeming with a population highly skilled in arts and in a state of civilization far beyond anything we have been led to conceive of the Aborigines, previous to the discovery of the continent by Europeans. The antiquities of America extend from the eastern shores of Maine and Massachusetts to the Pacific, and from the Great Lakes and British dominions of Perth and La Plata and South America, and in fact throughout the extent of the continents. Immense forests grow over the ruins of large cities and a gigantic size of trees.
Uh-oh, the gigantic size of trees. See, that's the shit that they don't want to tell us about. I got a few cash apps that came through, man. Shout out to a couple people supporting the $2 challenge, man. I want to shout out everybody that's supporting the $2 challenge, y'all. Shout out to Dre Cobb's Music. He said, for appreciate the bill. Shout out to Dre, man. We appreciate you, Dre. We appreciate all the support, man. I'm glad y'all enjoying the bill. Shout out to Earl Wheeler. Earl Wheeler supporting the channel, man. We appreciate your support, Brother Earl. Brother Earl in the chat, man. We appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad y'all enjoying the bill. Shout out to Tyron Toomer. He said for the fire live stream. We appreciate that, gang. Shout out to Tyron in the chat, man, for supporting the channel, man. We appreciate that. Shout out to my brother Enox as well, man, supporting the $2 challenge, man. Shout out to Enox supporting the $2 challenge. He said, for I love it when the questions their own lives. Yeah, man, you got to question their own lives. Even white people questioning their own lives. I love it too, brother, man. Shout out to the brother Enoch. Make sure y'all support the channel, man. Join the support team, man. Make sure y'all support the Aboriginal Power platform and the information, man. Let's get it.
The extent of the continents. Immense forests grow over the ruins of large cities and a gigantic size of trees, indications that other generations of trees sprung up and grew before them, proves the ruins were in existence before the Christian era. In every portion of the United States, interesting ruins have been found. Sculptured figures of 100 animals of different species, executed in a style far surpassing the Indians. The state of Ohio abounds in ruins surpassing the Indians. The species, executed in a style far surpassing the Indians. The state of Ohio abounds in ruins at towns and fortifications, with extensive towers and pyramids. At Marietta and in Missouri, beautiful pottery, silver and copper ornaments, and pearls of great beauty and luster have been dug from the earth. In the caves of Tennessee and Kentucky, mummies have been found in a high state of preservation, clothed with cloth and skins of various texture.
Damn, did y'all know it was some mummies found in Kentucky and Tennessee? Did y'all know it was some mummies found there? How many of y'all fucking do that? How many of y'all knew that?
In the caves of Tennessee and Kentucky, mummies have been found in a high state of preservation, clothed with cloth and skins of various texture, inlaid with features. Like discoveries have been made at Carrollton near Milwaukee in the state of Wisconsin. Ruins of huge fortifications appear. Similar ruins in the state of Missouri. On the south side of the Missouri River in the western portion of the state is an enclosure of some 500 acres, which includes the ruins of a building, no doubt an ancient tower, with walls 100 feet high and 80 at the base, attached to which a redoubt and citadel, much resembling the structure of a European tower. But it is in south of Mexico that magnificent and beautiful ruins present themselves in abundance. ruins of majestic cities and magnificent temples and altars with beautiful works of sculpture tastefully wrought, palaces adorned with paintings, colors chiefly sky blue and light green, which show by their richness and elegance to be the work of a highly cultured people. Those ruins, majestic and beautiful in appearance, but overgrown with thick forests of mahogany and cedar of immense dimensions and great age, prove to the world that the great empire teemed with an immense population, a people skilled in mechanical arts, and in an advanced state of cultivation. The most extensive ruins are to be found in Uxmal and Palenque in the southeast of Mexico. Pyramids coated with stone and quadrangular stone, edifices and terraces. The height of one of these pyramids is 130 feet, and on the summit is supported a temple. One of these facades of the temple are 4 human figures cut into stone with great exactness and elegance. The hands are crossed upon the breast, the head is covered with something like a helmet. About the neck is a garment of the skin of an alligator, and over each body is a figure of death's head and bones. At Palenque are immense ruins, with the remains of a royal palace. One temple, that of Copan, is 200 feet by 650 and supposed to have been as large as St. Paul's at Rome. Another temple of great dimension is here, having the entrance 100 feet long and 10 feet broad. It stands on an elevation of 60 feet. The pillars of the portico are adorned with hieroglyphs and other devices. Different objects of worship have been found, representations of the gods who are worshipped in this country. These temples, with 14 large buildings and many other objects of curiosity, stand here as monuments of ancient greatness, to remind us of the remote origin of a mighty empire. The city has been called the Thebes of America, and travelers have supposed that it must have been 60 miles in circumference and contained a population of 3 million souls. Centuries must have elapsed and dynasties succeeded each other before such orders of architecture were introduced, and a great length of time must have passed before an empire would become sufficiently powerful to erect such temples and possess a city of such vast extent. In looking back to the past, we feel interested in the imagination that this people, in the noonday of glory, enjoyed all the fruits and luxuries of an advanced civilization. But when we hold these ruins, a melancholy must at once seize our minds. On the ground where once nations met in their strength and power, wild beasts now roam, and venomous serpents wend their way. And over these vast cities, where once the busy hum of industry and the voice of merriment resounded, grows the vast cedar, on which branches the owls chatter. In this country is exhibited the largest pyramid in the world, that of Cholula, near Puebla. It covers 114 acres and is 200 feet high. On its summit was a temple, and in the interior has been discovered a vault, roofed with beams of wood containing skeletons and idols. Several smaller pyramids surrounded this large one. It appears to have been formed by cutting a hill into an artificial shape. Its dimensions are immense, being nearly 2 miles in circumference and about 400 feet high. It's divided into terraces and slopes covered with platforms, stages, and bastions, elevated one above the other, and are formed with large stones skillfully cut and joined without cement. In some respects, the style of architecture resembles the Gothic, being massive and durable, while in other respects it resembles the Egyptian. Yet the general construction matter and style of architecture is different from anything described in the world. In Egypt, hieroglyphs on stone denote remarkable events which no one has been able to decipher. A dark shade rests on the antiquities of America, and few rays of light enliven the gloom. We have ancient history to inform us of the events in Egypt, how that empire was founded, and how it prospered and fell. We have the same record at Babylon, Nineveh, Greece, Rome, Carthage, but not in the least information we have in relation to those who erected these cities. What people, whence they came, not a ray of light to dispel the gloom which seems to rest on the earliest history of America. Architecture, sculpture, painting, and all the arts that adorn civilized life have flourished in this country at a period far from remote. This is evidence sufficient to prove that these cities were in ruins at least 16 or 1800 years ago. In Palenque are the remains of an altar over which grows the immense cedar, whose powerful roots enshrine it. The whole city is overgrown with mahogany and cedar trees of enormous size. The concentric circles of these trees, the well-known cycles for a year, have been counted, which shows they were more than 800 years old, and there were indications of another generation of trees having sprung up before them. How few reflect on the fact that America is an old dominion, the seat of an ancient and mighty empire. These facts are opening themselves every day to the eyes of the astonished world. It is to be hoped that the spirit of inquiry, which seems at present to animate all classes of learned men.
Look how great that pyramid is right there. That's Chachula, man. Y'all niggas don't even be understanding our science and what we got in America and what we got to offer, man. Seriously.
Welcome, and in today's little video, we're going to look at a few different things, beginning with this floating Ohio building in San Francisco. This was shared with me in a comment by watching closely, and an excellent piece of mystery associated with this Panama Pacific International Exposition held in San Francisco in 1915. And I'm sure that by now many of you have seen different videos on these mysterious world's fairs, and just amazing that they built this fair as a temporary event, just like in Chicago, just like in every major city in the entire world. They built the same architectural style, had a big party, and destroyed everything, and would never rebuild anything as beautiful again. And that's fine. But this just really opens up a whole other can of worms that I'm afraid I may not be able to get into today. But the whole idea of the Panama Canal, which is what this whole fair here in San Francisco is supposed to be celebrating. Even though there was probably an excuse for all the different fairs, but this was the one for San Francisco, the Panama Pacific Expo. And I began to dig into the story a little about how Theodore Roosevelt made this canal in Panama. Not really sure how that would unfold, but nevertheless decided that it was too cumbersome to sail ships all around South America to come back to the western coast of the United States, so he made this canal. And if you look at this canal, I mean, this is not some sort of canal that was made in a couple of years, like these supposed World's Fairs. I mean, just ridiculous after ridiculous. And here, let's just get right to it, is the Ohio State Building. And the Ohio State Building, now they're telling us that they're floating buildings around after they're done with them. If they didn't demolish it, they either sold anything of value that they could, and we're told that they even floated buildings from place to place. In this case, from one part of California to another. Once the fair was closed to the public, the company had the enormous task of cleaning out the entire site. Hoping to recoup some additional revenue, the company sold every fixture, piece of equipment, plant, and building off to the highest bidder. A few agencies and municipalities purchased the smaller buildings that could be transported by boat to new locations. San Mateo County purchased the Ohio building. Marin County purchased.
Nigga, they had buildings floating buildings. You gotta be fucking shitting me. A floating building? Well, when the motherfucking world flooded and they flooded the areas with the mud flood, how the fuck they didn't float then? Tell me that. Fuck.
Just the Wisconsin and Virginia buildings, and the Army maintained the Oregon building. Really silly. And when we look at these buildings, there's just no way that these are even new construction. I mean, look at the weathering here. This is not a 2-year-old building. And I'm not sure, how they pulled this off in the time period right in front of these very people. And probably there was a different story back then. And it changes a little bit with every next generation. But
look how magnificent this structure is. You see what I'm saying? And this is a building that was allegedly floated down the fucking river. And look at look how huge this building is compared to these cars. These are cars lined up out front of this. These are cars, bro. Listen, sis, brothers and sisters. I hope you like, if y'all ain't enjoying this bill, I don't know what y'all are like. You know what I'm saying? Get in the comment section at the end of this video. Tell me what type of information y'all want to hear on the platform. What type of information y'all want to see on the platform? Look at this magnificent structure. Look at these archways, cobblestone. Beautiful. Beautiful. Huge. Support the channel, y'all. Cash out tags at the bottom right of the screen, man. Make sure y'all support the channel, man. It's very important for you guys to support the channel, hit the like button, and share the live stream. Make sure y'all do that for your boy, man. The real support the real, man.
Really amazing. And this is clearly like some kind of a station, some kind of a hub for transport. And not some temporary World's Fair building. The Ohio building. And without getting into too much more, I'll move on to the next part.
Hold on. This bitch is floating for real. Get the fuck out of here. This can't be real. This can't be real. A floating building, bro? This bitch didn't sink? The fuck?
Will require some more investigation. This next part was about a Native American tribe originally, but I think it applies to all displaced people.
Hold on now. We ain't just gonna let that nigga slide.
Originally, but I think it applies.
Talking about Native American. Boy, this nigga is the whitest man from Europe. Talking about Native American. Fuck out of here. Who you think we are? Boo Boo the Fool? Hell no.
As to all displaced people in all parts through time and in present. There were once a people, a great people, on a land that had a clear operating system of the mind.
Those are great people. And spoiler alert, those great people are you guys. It's us. We forgot about our history. We've been asleep for so long, we forgot about our accomplishments. Wake up, y'all.
which allowed their people to operate and function for thousands of years. Now, another people came from across the sea and tried to conquer these people, and they were fought off for 200 years.
Who are the only people that came from across the seas and fought some people? We are the niggas that's been fighting. Chickamaugas, riding, Rodney King, motherfucker, what's going on? This nigga knows some shit. They were making this video. He know we the guys. This nigga know we the guys, man. If you know you the guys, man, hit that like button, drop a fire emoji in the channel, man. If y'all know we the gods and we did this shit, that all this shit that they showing is our ancient shit, drop a fire emoji in the channel. If y'all really enjoying this bill, man, send a cash out donation. Let Big Aboriginal Power know that y'all enjoying this bill.
Other people came from across the sea and tried to conquer these people, and they were fought off for 200 years. And finally somebody came and said, let us give these people property and cattle, but let's not give it to all the people, just a few. And these people never had a concept of ownership of property, animal, land. And now suddenly this term exists in the mind, and one enjoys this new gift, and one wants to keep his gift, and others want what he has, and pretty soon others begin to acquire and want to keep others away from taking what is theirs. And now the people no longer protected their own as a whole.
Right, we're not protected. We don't have equal rights. We barely even got civil rights, fam. Talk that shit, man. Tell them we need our shit back. This is what we do when we on top of the game, when we just building and thriving, just niggas. This what it look like. That's what an Aboriginal history look like. Right here on your fucking screen, right here. That's what it look like. If you ain't never seen it, here it go. This what Aboriginal history and lineage look like in our past that we don't know, that we question. This is what our ancestors lived like. I think Trump was saying when he said, let's make America great again, let's make it great like this. Facts.
Their own people, that is, but rather their own possessions and their own property. And when the next wave came to conquer these people, it was done with ease, and there was very little battle. And this reminds me of the story in the Bible where the devil tempts Jesus and offers him all of these lands, everything that the eye can see, if only he will be corrupted by these ideas. And in fact, the devil knew he could not corrupt without this idea. And so this was a trick. These were words used to portray an idea that before then did not exist. And this is the world that we are living in. Except our forefathers were tricked, and we have been raised and conditioned in these falsities. And this facilitates the
That's a fact, man.
rewriting of history and our language, and the system as a whole. And the system is designed to keep us operating, just like a computer, an already corrupted computer. And when we begin to realize this, the whole system begins to fall apart. Any one part of the system opens up the door to the rest. And just as it was removed, it seems like this knowledge now is being
showing you all the cities with these same Eiffel Towers
given back. And I recently received some comments and just a lot of synchronicities in my life that have been pointing to language and the words that we use. And even when it comes to our court system, this is the ticket to our freedom, is understanding how to use our words correctly and not speak Babel or Babylonian, but to speak clearly. And this is kind of where I am in my life on my other personal research. And I find it absolutely fascinating, and it's a big rabbit hole. But I just thought I'd bring it up today, just touch on the subject. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. And recently somebody asked me to have a little look at this Ponce de Leon and the Fountain of Youth. And this little article has been put out by the Smithsonian. And half a millennia ago, in 1513, the Spanish explorer Juan Ponce de Leon departed Puerto Rico for the island of Bimini, an uncharted island in what is now the Bahamas. He eventually landed instead in Florida, where he staked a claim for the Spanish crown and ensured himself a spot in the annals of history. As legend has it, the scholars have maintained for centuries that Ponce de Leon was in search of the Fountain of Youth, a fabled wellspring thought to give everlasting life to whoever bathed or drank from it. But new scholarship contradicts the old fable and suggests that Ponce was interested not only in longevity, but political gain. So, right off the get-go, I think the Smithsonian, famed for pulling the wool over our eyes, wants us to think that Ponce de Leon never searched for the Fountain of Youth. And now I would go a little further and probably say that Ponce de Leon never existed, period. Now, this is a very similar story to Christopher Columbus and the idea of this man sailing and discovering America. And really, I think that these stories are more so designed to give us the idea that there was no America. There was no foundations other than a savage people, as we're led to believe, primitive in comparison. And yet,
what Trey Ali say? If being savage was our nature, then we non-existent. We was never savages. If being savage was our nature, then we non-existent. Shout out to my brother Trey Ali, man.
Myself and several channels have really shown that this history is much older, especially when concerning the Americas. And there's so many proofs of an older culture.
You hear that? It's way older. This history of advanced civilization and people is much older, especially in America.
That this history is much older, especially when concerning the Americas. And there's so many proofs of an older culture that existed in this land. And we're told that pioneers come across, and Mormons in Salt Lake, the gold rush in San Francisco, all these ideas, all these stories.
Look, this is evidence of them digging up some old shit right there. That's evidence of them digging up some old shit.
Lending to the idea that we are the ones who are settling this land. When I think the photographic evidence really proves this over and over. There's no way we built everything that we see here. And in some cases, especially where a lot of the buildings are found underground. Now, I do love the idea of a Fountain of Youth, but I don't think we're finding it in this tale. And really, I think what we see when we even look at the island of Puerto Rico is much more ancient building that took place, and more so architecture that we see in other parts of the world. Very old, castle-like, and giant walls, and even what appeared to be concretes employed. And I think Puerto Rico was one of the first anomalies that I discovered in the Americas, along with the base of the Statue of Liberty, of course, showing a beautiful star fort, clearly something much older than we've been told. And here I wanted to show my little likely spam folder that has been automatic.
All right, man, I'm gonna end the live stream right there, man. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the build. This is your brother Big Aboriginal Power, man. I try to come with some heat, man. Hopefully y'all really enjoyed this, man. This was a lot of information to intake. This video should have a lot of replay value. Hopefully y'all enjoy it. Check out a lot of those structures. Question the timeline, you guys. Use correct methodology, and most importantly, critical think. These people has been lying to us since the beginning of time. And so we have to challenge the narrative. We have to critical think, and we have to place this history together and tell the story that has never been told. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. If y'all want to support the channel, PayPal and Cash App information is taken across at the bottom of the screen, you guys. If you're new to this channel, hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. I might even drop the link in the chat to allow a few people to come on and build for a few seconds. So if y'all want to do that, drop the fire emojis in the chat, and I will drop the link in the chat. Shout out to everybody in the chat, by the way. Appreciate y'all for tapping in. If y'all can hear me loud and clear, drop a fire emoji in the chat. Shout out to you guys, man. We got 202 people in here. Let's try to get 200 likes in the building. Appreciate everybody for tapping in. This is your brother Aboriginal Power, man. And this was the Philadelphia World's Fair. And, you know, we're looking at some of these ancient buildings and structures throughout the world, man. So, yeah, man. What's going on, Empress? Empress Namas. Shout out to my elder, Gretchen Hams, in the chat. Shout out to Gretchen Hams in the chat. You understand me? Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Hopefully everybody enjoying the build, man. I did drop the link in the chat, so make sure y'all hit that link. I'll give y'all 60 seconds to hit that link. If y'all want to come on, I'll give y'all 60 seconds to hit that link and see if y'all want to come on, man. Jump on the panel. So I'll take a 60-second break. We'll be back in this.
See, my life has been in motion. I'm a little windy. I'm not giving up yet. If you with me, time to place up your bet. Ain't no turning back. Got niggas who ran. When we caught his ass, got caught in that jail. Yeah, you know who I am. Yeah, you know who I am. I can feel it coming. I can feel it coming. It's that feeling in your stomach, you can feel it coming. It's that feeling in your stomach, you can feel it coming. Yeah, you can feel it coming. Fake love, snake you in your face, love. That snake you in your face, love. I told my brothers we gon' make it, that's how God wrote it. And the snake gon' show his face, cause that's how God wrote it. Too much fake love, that snake you in your face, love. Your face, love. That snake you in your face, love. I told my brothers we gon' make it, that's how God wrote it. And the snake gon' show his face, cause that's how God wrote it. Too much fake love, that snake you in your face, love. Your face, love. That snake you in your face, love. I told my brothers we gon' make it, that's how God wrote it. And the snake gon' show his face, cause that's how God wrote it.
All right, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Nobody hit the link, man. I appreciate y'all for tapping in. Support the channel, man. Like I said, it's very important for you guys to support the channel. I appreciate that, everybody, for tapping in. Before y'all get out of here, make sure y'all support the channel, man. Y'all don't want to leave without supporting the channel, letting Big Aboriginal Power know that y'all enjoyed the live stream. So with that being said, make sure y'all be safe while y'all out in the rest of y'all day. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you be aware, stay vigilant, and stay dangerous. You see what I'm saying? It's your brother Big Aboriginal Power, and we out. Peace.
Suave on the track.
Whatever it takes. The alleyway.
Coco, this your season right now.
They won't see me. They won't let me, yeah. I gotta sleep with one eye open, been making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the strap. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid, yeah. I won't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah. I gotta sleep with one eye open, been making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the strap. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid, yeah. I can't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah. I put attention, all of my blood, all of my veins. They started with perky, now that hair by numb is veins. You started with serving, now them drugs drove you insane. Started with dealing, I grew up with killers, they taught me the game. I got some niggas that die behind, and that shit won't never the same. I know some niggas that lie behind, and that bullet had his name. Ain't no reason to cry about, cause that shit won't never change. MTF the 4th and P, my niggas can't get out the game. I gotta sleep with one eye open, been making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the strap. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid, yeah. I won't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah. I gotta sleep with one eye open, been making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the strap. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid, yeah. I can't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah.
Lord, see, I